crying little.
Yoga.
The natural hair, how do you answer that?
White women in the natural hair movement, I don't, this is hard for me.
Can the natural hair movement include white women?
I do. People are not going to like this, but yes, I do think that white women can be part of the natural hair community.
Of course, I think white women can be part of the natural hair community. They all have different textures as well.
There are white women who do chemically straighten their hair.
They are also looking for different products and different style options on how to style their curly hair.
We love to point out, they can't be they don't understand it, but have you actually talked to them to see where they're coming from, to figure it out?
And I've seen plenty of Caucasian females who have even close to my type curl pattern.
Now maybe they don't have the deep cultural impact, and roots that we do when it comes to texture. They're experiencing it on their level, and that is all relative. I think that we still have to look at each other as women and say, okay, you've gone through some hair hate. I've gone through some hair hate. Let's try to unite on hair love.
Not today. I mean, a white woman could embrace her curls or embrace her natural pattern. It's kind of intrusive for them to come in and say, hey, we're just like you too, and we have the same hair issue as well.
White women in the natural hair movement, I think, feels counterintuitive to the notion of the natural hair movement.
Black women need to have a safe space for themselves.
Today's natural hair movement, to me, is a shift from feeling compelled always to have hair that was like white hair.
The natural hair movement was created from this idea that we need to step outside of society's norms and love ourselves for who we are.
So thinking about what that movement looks like and feeling empowered and brave to say, this is my hair texture and I'm okay with that, I feel like it belongs with that group of people who were marginalized to begin with. And that group of people is not necessarily white women.
We need this space with the natural hair movement to just be each other and love on ourselves and not include white women at this time.
Okay, I want to thank the subscriber that sent me the link to this video. Thank you very much for sharing this, and go ahead and leave a comment. I'll go ahead and pin it to this video because I did want to specially thank you. My subscriber stated that I would be sickened by this, and I am. I am absolutely disgusted by this. This should not even be a question at all. This should not exist because the natural hair movement is for Black women and Black women only. I feel like we've been infiltrated enough by biracial women with looser texture of hair. So no, white women should not be a part of the natural hair movement. I agree with this young lady 100%. She's correct. Black women need their own safe spaces. We are always so inclusive to bring everybody in, and then we want to cry and whine when we get pushed out, marginalized, and everybody else gets to benefit and it's very lucrative to them. We are taken apart from our hair, our bodies, our lips, our everything. And when it's put on someone who is not us, it's praised. There's all kinds of cultural appropriation going on, and we are supporting it. we support it. That's the sad thing, is that we open the door. It's always a black person who's the representative, and then they slide in the door via that black person who welcomes them in to our spaces. And then we get infiltrated, and then we are non-existent. The natural hair movement, you have to think about it. Why was it birthed? It was birthed because black women's hair was seen as unkempt. Something was wrong with it. It wasn't professional. We had to cover it up, going all the way back to slavery. And it was juxtaposed to white hair. That's where the problem was birthed. So no, I say no, they cannot be a part of this movement. I also agree with Pamela. She eloquently put it in the same way that the last young lady put it. You know, this is not something that they should be invited into, because the very need of a natural hair movement is because of them. You know, everything is held to their standard. It's, you know, hair texture, body, looks, everything that will be deemed attractive and non-attractive because it's pushed so heavily. That is why we needed a natural hair movement to begin with. And even today, still in this time, you have young women who are being expelled from school. Also in Africa, young women can't wear their natural hair and natural hairstyles. You have women being fired from their jobs. I personally was sitting there in a corporate office and saw that a Caucasian person told a black person to tell the black young lady that she couldn't have her cultural head wrap on. And the only way that I can see, you know, white women helping is by speaking out when you see something like that in the corporate world. Otherwise, there should be no integrating them in. It's already an issue where there is a hair texture hierarchy. We don't need to make it worse. And looking at this woman, you see her, and we heard what she had to say. She was one person who was in agreement with having white women in the natural hair movement, just like this one. And they are problematic in our community. We as black people, we actually listen to Caucasian people and black men when they say that because these biracial children, majority come from them, that they are black. But that's not true. They're biracial, and that's what I call them. I have biracial family members all up and through my family. So I, in my opinion, believe that the natural hair movement should be for black women, because there was no laws and teasing of certain hair textures. And people will say, well, she has a kinkier hair texture. I do agree. But because of her look, they would know that she is a mixed female. And like I said, with me, I believe it should be black women strictly. And then you have mixed chicks, and they can have their own, you know, products and their own movement and whatever else. And white women, they can keep the 158 million spaces for themselves, because that is a problem. With black women, and black people specifically, we are always so quick to invite other people in, and other people don't do that. Within the culture, we as a people will respect other people's culture, and we will attribute things to that culture and we will say it and acknowledge it, but other people don't do that for us. They just take and use, and we're okay with it, and we give. So why wouldn't I, to think about how they see how we don't even value bits and pieces of ourselves and our culture? Why should they? If you're a sucker, I'm gonna capitalize off you being a sucker. That's your problem. But women like this have been problematic with this mindset because they have access where they can open the door, and then that's how all of the white women and black women, they enter in via these type of women, and also via other black women who have this similar mindset, and also black men. And this woman here, she basically has that same mindset. She said, sure, they can come in. She looks like the type of person who puts braids in white women's hair. She is the all-inclusive type, and you can notice that she's on the lighter spectrum of black, which plays into it too. But she even looks defeated at this point. She seems like she would be the one who has a problem with being around a bunch of black people herself. And I would say that this woman here, looking at her texture of hair, I would not include her in the black natural hair movement. Maybe the natural hair movement should be changed to the black natural hair movement, or black female natural hair movement. But she even explained how problematic it is for them to try and move into our space, seeing how they are the reason why this space was even created or had to be created. But I wanted to go back to this young lady. I agree with her 100%. It's going to create a pecking order. It'll be white women talking about their hair issues and texture, and then it'll be biracial women, and black women will just be phased out of the whole thing, and the natural hair movement will consist of Caucasian women and mixed women. And what really disheartens me is I know there are black people who will embrace it and who are willing to just sell every single piece of their culture just to be close to whiteness. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think. Do you think white women should be a part of the natural hair movement, or do you not think? Go ahead and tell me why you think that, and I will link the video to my last video about this natural hair movement and inviting white women in, because at the end of the day, what it shows me is that the dominant society has been lying, because you don't want to attach yourself to a movement that is birthed from the most unattractive women. Why do you have the most attractive women trying to be in a space with the least attractive women, as the society tries to put it? And I will say, because the truth is coming out, and it comes out every day. I said in that video that these women have to walk around looking at us being the same age or us being older, and look at us looking very young. And they acknowledge it every day, especially in the corporate world. I see the eye cutting and the hair flipping and everything when, an attractive black woman walks by, or any black woman. And they're always asking your age. They want to know information. At first, I thought they were being nosy, but honestly, they are trying to measure themselves by what you say. And they want to know your age. That's why they always ask for birthdays, as if they want to celebrate your birthday. Yeah, right. But these women have to look at black women, and even though society tells them one thing, their eyes are telling them the complete different. But yeah, go ahead and leave that comment if you agree I'm going to delete your comment and block you. I'm just kidding. But I'll see you in the next one.
But I wasn't